Well. Though we got a bummer at the start of the year with Velma, things are looking up with HBO's next release with The Last of Us. I have to admit, we had our concerns, especially with the articles circulating in the past couple of weeks prior to the release of the first episode. Despite that, however, I decided to approach it with cautious optimism, and I am glad to say that as a fan of the games, and yes, that includes the sequel, which I will also make a video of at some point in the future, the premiere of The Last of Us first episode did not disappoint. For the benefit of those unfamiliar to the franchise, The Last of Us tells the story of the modern world that has succumbed to the cordyceps virus, where most of the population has been infected and turned into a zombie-like state that can easily transmit the virus to those who remain uninfected with no cure in sight. With the world deteriorating into a desolate landscape, the remnants of humanity have scattered, forming various factions, each with their own motives and objectives, or simply fighting for survival. And we all know that there's no bottom for the worst of humanity when it comes to putting themselves first or taking advantage of situations for their own benefit. Just a warning before I begin at this point, there will be spoilers, so if you're still unfamiliar with the story details, I recommend returning to this video once you have finished watching. Already at the very start, the showrunners took some liberties to differentiate the show from that of the game. It begins in a TV show in 1968, where a well-known epidemiologist leaves an ominous message on what is to come. Fast forward to 2003, the story begins with Sarah and Joel, but contrary to the game, it starts off in the morning as Joel prepares to go to work and Sarah to school. Before they set out, the radio reports of strange incidents and chaos occurring in Jakarta. As Sarah finishes with school for the day, she stops by at a watch repair store to have Joel's watch fixed. However, just as Sarah was about to pay for the repairs, the wife of the repairman was so agitated that she lets Sarah leave and advises her to go home immediately. Later that evening, as Joel returns home as well, Sarah hands over Joel's birthday gift, which is the now repaired watch. What differentiates this scene from the game is that Sarah reveals that she stole the money from Joel to have it fixed, and not just from quote-unquote selling drugs, since she is for one, just a child with no source of income. Secondly, she also explains that Joel was never going to have it fixed. That is why she took the initiative. Lastly, she also hands him a DVD of one of his favorite movies with some added scenes. I must say, I absolutely love this scene, as not only does it pay tribute to the source material, but also added further context. Not to mention, as I am not sure if it was revealed in the first game of Joel's love for cinema, I am certain that it was tackled in the second game. So not only does it take into account the first game, but also what has been discussed in the sequel, all while maintaining the heart of the scene. Another key differentiation, which I am not all on board with the direction, is that as Sarah was sleeping, Joel receives a call from Tommy asking him to bail him out of jail as he got into a fight, which prompts him to leave the house with Sarah on her own, indicating that Tommy is somewhat more reckless and easily provoked in comparison to his demeanor in the game. To the surprise of nobody, what transpires next is the beginning of the massive spread of the virus, and if you have played the game, you already know how it plays out. The only difference is that as the infected neighbor was chasing Sarah, Joel and Tommy arrive back home to her rescue, and they head out for safety, similarly to how it played out in the game. What transpires next is nearly one-to-one with how the events unfold in the game. I approve this approach, as this is a case of do not fix what is not broken, as this is one of the most powerful scenes in the game, and unsurprisingly, I also got teary-eyed remembering one of the most emotional moments in gaming. Fast forward to the present, Joel has become adept at living his new life. What I greatly appreciate in this scene is the added detail on his day-to-day work to secure rations. I am actually amazed on how fleshed out this series is with the added context. I was genuinely amused that they toned down Tessa's aggression, at least in this first episode. Rather than taking down Robert, the dealer who is supposed to provide her and Joel car batteries head-on, she actually is the one who calms down Joel, as they should retaliate Robert more discreetly with regards to Ellie, a mysterious girl being held captive by the Fireflies, a vigilante group in opposition with the military that is seeking to restore the world prior to the virus, is also further explored with how she ended up with them, which was not tackled in the game. I also appreciate that this series so far has also dug deeper into the Fireflies, as this first episode tackles rising tension between Marlene, who is the leader of the Fireflies, and her subordinates. Contrary to the game, this episode takes its time to let Marlene reveal why the Fireflies must protect Ellie in order for them to respect her wishes, rather than just simply following her blindly. As for Robert, who's kind of a meme character in the game, is funnily enough made even more dumb here, but not necessarily for the worst, at least in my opinion. In the game, he betrays Joel and Tess to be able to transact with the Fireflies, but here, he double-crosses not just Joel and Tess, but the Fireflies as well. Marlene then offers them a deal that she will provide them a full working truck with supplies, rather than just a car battery, in exchange to escort Ellie to the Fireflies' base of operations. Fast forward to the final scene of the first episode, where Joel and Tess were escorting Ellie out of the quarantine zone, and was caught by the soldier that Joel was dealing drugs with. This moment is worth mentioning, as I greatly appreciate the nuance that was placed in this scene. This is perhaps my favorite part of the episode, because as the soldier was raising his gun towards Joel, he suddenly gets reminded of the events that led to Sarah's death, as him raising the gun triggers Joel's memory of the tragedy, leading him to go on a frenzy, killing the soldier with his bare hands. It is then revealed from the scanning of the soldier that Ellie is actually infected, but has not turned since she was bitten 3 weeks prior, which explains why she is highly valued by Marlene and the Fireflies. All in all, contrary to my worries, I genuinely appreciated the first episode of The Last of Us. It pays tribute to the source material by reenacting the best and iconic scenes in the game, all while making significant differences that provide further context and more accessibility to audiences that have not played the games. I can only hope that the quality is maintained, or get even better in the succeeding episodes. Given the controversy of the second game, and the statements provided prior to release of the first episode, it is not out of the question that the storytelling can fall apart. But for now, I recommend watching this series as it stays true to the source material, something that many intellectual properties cannot claim these days. With that said, thank you for watching, and do subscribe if you have not already, as there's more content to come in the near future. Thank you, and have a great day.